guaranteed to get pushback from me. Whereas displaying that on your face involuntarily will cause me to change my behavior every time.
I think it's funny how, like, it seems like the FI polar people have more of a vested interest in like people's micro expressions than I think even creative FE people are.
Was that a little bit of a skeptical tone in your voice there for a second, Ken?
No. Was it?
I think I heard it. I think I heard your facial expressions. What I think, probably.
No, it's just based off of what Taylor said with like reading people or whatnot.
Yeah, Taylor is excellent at reading shit.
But like you're talking about like actually paying attention to that, whereas like I don't think I'm as invested in that. I feel like I'm more invested in displaying rather than tracking other people's expressions. I'm just like, oh, I'll display this because this typically results in something happy.
I'm the same way as you in that regard. And Taylor and Susie, well, Susie's FE is turned off more or less, I think. I mean, I've had occasions where I've talked to her and realized, oh, she's not paying any goddamn attention to that at all. Like, this is really obvious, and she's just like, what? But
I don't think INTPs can have it off like INTJs can. INTJs are the closest you get to having it off. INTPs are just not displaying necessarily.
Here's an example. Susie, you remember that comment that guy was writing to you in Norwegian? And you said something back to him, and he said something back to you, and it was whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, that guy totally wants to get on your, jump your bones, you know? And you're like, what? What are you talking about? He's just chatting with me. I was like, Susie, it was, I don't know, a month ago. There was a Norwegian dude who was like, hey, maybe you can send me a picture of this, above, like a drawing, or I don't remember what he said exactly. Something about drawing pictures. Or, do you remember what I'm talking about now?
Vaguely. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, someone asked me something.
Yeah,
I didn't see it at all. But yeah, I don't see that. I never see that.
Right, but you responded, and I mean, you saw the comment, though. You responded to the comment, and you responded in a very straightforward way, like interpreting it as just he actually was interested in saying that, or getting your comment about that particular thing. But the way I read the translation of it, granted, so I don't know how it sounded in the Norwegian. But the way the translation read, it was very obvious he was trying to get you to hook up with him, meet up with him and shit, you know? But you didn't. You seemed genuinely surprised when I pointed that out to you. You know,
I never see that. Never.
Yeah. So that's an example of FE being turned off, I'd say. But it's not always turned off. There's other kinds of FE. It depends which kind of manner of thing you're trying to adjudicate. So it's like if you are trying to determine whether somebody's critique is legitimate or whether it's motivated by defensiveness or projection, you're pretty good at reading people's sort of bias emotion. But that's because it's within a framework of argumentation, sort of, versus the thing I was talking about before, which is very much like SE style FE.
SE polar.
Makes sense. Yeah. So where was this? Oh yeah, Taylor does read really well, and I think the implication is then that I read people less well, which is, I don't doubt, assuredly true, but is an odd thing for me to think about because I think I read people extremely well when I need to read them.
Yeah, and the rest of the time you're not paying attention at all.
Yeah, I think my intuition is good about me letting me not pay attention and still saying, hey, this one you got to pay attention to. I think it's pretty good at that. So I don't feel like I read people poorly, even though I can understand why people would conclude that I do.
Well, Taylor is creepy with the micro expression thing. He's a fucking mind reader.
What do you mean by micro expressions, though? Like just a little change in smile or something like.
Change in smile, slight eyebrow thing. Eye
Hmm.
thing.
The inflection somebody uses when they say something.
Yeah, or not even saying something.
Like a delay in half a second. It took you an extra half a second to say that.
Yeah.
And that might be an instinctual difference too. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Taylor's just more, when he does pay attention to somebody, a lot of time he's like, yeah, I wasn't paying attention. And that's like his story a lot of the time. But when he is paying attention, it seems like he's got more of an MO to actually like legitimately be paying attention. Whereas I think maybe for me and you, Eric, there's more of like a vibe of just sort of like very rapidly flipping channels, just being like, oh, that's what's on this station, and then this station over here, and then we got this one over here, and you're just like flipping through different stuff. You're just sort of keeping tabs on what's on TV, but you're not necessarily locked into a particular show.
Yeah, but in general, I don't know how well people read people in general, but I have the impression that a lot of people don't read me at all.
Dude, you're impossible to read.
I wait
Taylor
for
can.
you to tell me. Oh, she froze.
Me?
Oh, she's back now. So like earlier, I want to use this as an example. Earlier, I was sort of joking around with Susie, and she had just sort of like a look on her face. I don't know exactly what it was. I think maybe she was waiting for like there to be a punchline or something like that, but she was sort of squinting, and I realized that's not the expression I'm wanting. I'm wanting for her to actually laugh. So I sort of kept the FE expressions going until I landed on something to where she actually started laughing.
Oh, so that was what you were doing.
Yeah.
Well, that's one area in which Susie's really easy to read, which is when I watch videos, I look at Susie if I know I'm making a joke coming up, because it gives me a rush of FI satisfaction to see her laughing at my jokes. So because she's not very FE friendly in that regard, which is excellent if you're making jokes. You don't want somebody who is easy to make laugh. Their laughs are worthless. They're not worthless, but they're worth less, you know. If you get a good audience member, a good audience archetype is somebody who genuinely appreciates your good jokes and genuinely doesn't really laugh at your bad jokes. And then you know you got somebody whose opinion matters, you know. I gotta go outside and smoke again. This is the problem.
He's not wearing pants.
Well, yeah. In the grand scheme of things, does he really need pants?
I guess not. Not around that house. When the kids aren't there.
You wonder if he struts around for. You wonder if he peacocks for his woman.
I wouldn't be surprised if you do.
I'm sorry, just the way you said that. I wouldn't be surprised if he do.
I live with an ENTP. They do weird shit.
Yeah, that's one of the ways I'm.
Not that, but some things.
It's one of the ways I'm trying to get my honorary ENTP status. It's by doing weird shit around. My mom gets pissed at me because she's like, sometimes I'll get out of the shower. It's like, oh, people are. And now people are back. Sorry, I was lagging. what was I saying? Yeah, sometimes I'll piss off my mom because I'll get out of the shower and just have a towel around my waist. And like every fucking time, she's like, I tell you every time, if that towel drops, you're moving out. I don't want you in this house if that towel drops. So sometimes I'll get dried off, put on boxers, and then wrap the towel around my waist, and then come downstairs and just rip it off. And she has like a split second where she's just like fearing Armageddon.
And that's happened several times.
Yeah.
And she falls every time?
Falls? No.
Well,
it's like an instinctual reaction of like, nah! And then she's like, ah, fuck. But then one time I didn't have my boxers, had the towel on. She went to say it, and I just had to stop her. Like I was on my way upstairs, I just had to stop her. I was like, "You do realize that you've increased the chances of me dropping the towel, being in your presence, by you stopping me and lecturing me on not doing it. Whereas I would have already been upstairs, but the TI was lost on her. She didn't quite appreciate it." Like, you're talking about people not taking your TI advice. It's fun being around censors sometimes, especially those who don't really have a high valuing on the TI, because then you use it on occasion and you're like, oh, I totally forgot. You don't care about this.
I have FI dumb father.
Oh, dear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry? Question mark?
And I think my mother is ENFJ.
Wow.
No, she's not. ESFJ.
ESFJ. So you got both types of feelings rammed down your throat.
Mad and right on. Both of them.
Who?
Both that I just described the entire feelings universe. Mad and right on.
Okay.
Those are both types of feelings.
What about moist?
That's just some sort of like mental disorder or something that happens to you occasionally. Are we all getting booted? Me too. Goodbye, host Eric, as you'd like to be.
Looks like it.
Well, that
Hi,
was something. Hacking. I like that. I get a strange urge to attempt to say your name not as... Oh, okay. Oh, dear.
Now it works again.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
I feel like saying your name as Suzanne instead of, anything else, because, I don't know. I like...
That's how Cotto says it.
But Suzanne?
Susanna.
Well, I'm not going to say it as Susanna.
Thank God. No,
okay, fine then.
Say it like that.
All right, fine then. Susanna. I'll refer to you as my waitress. We're in Texas. I'll call you Susanna.
Yeah, I'll be your waitress or something.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm crafting in my head this whole scenario where it's like you're a waitress in southern Texas at a diner. And I could be like, hey there, darling, can you fetch me another pot of coffee? To which you'll respond, no. And then you'll walk away. I'll be like, what the fuck is wrong with this fucking establishment?
Fucking establishment. Fuck the system.
Yeah. I like how in text you won't use the word fuck, you'll say thicken.
Yeah.
Thicken.
It's more fun. For me at least. And apparently people like it.
Yeah. It's funny because he says, I shout at cop cars, but his picture is a bird, and I just envisioned a bird flying over a cop car and just shitting on it. Thicken.
Fucking shit.
Yeah.
I'm not Swedish. It's fine. I just said that to be an ass.
I'm not Swedish, you fucking cunt.
Fucking cuck.
I said
Okay,
cunt, but
okay,
you heard what you wanted me.
Okay. Fucking kind of juice.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
I like how when you say it repeatedly, and it sounds like a chicken clucking. You're like, peck, peck, pecking. Peck. Yeah, say fucking chicken.
You're taking all the fun out of it for me.
But it's adding fun to us. We're siphoning out the fun.
Have some ASMR instead.
I gladly accept.
Why do
No
you
qualms here.
Eller så kan jeg gjøre sånn som Nick liker når jeg driver og snakker norsk i stedet.
Can you say it slowly and whisper it?
No.
Please.
Eller så kan jeg gjøre sånn som Nick liker for det.
Can you start a channel, please? I'll listen to it. I need help going to bed. I see dead bodies in my dreams. I need help sleeping.
So, words you don't understand, that would actually be pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You can hear it's a person, but you can't understand shit, so just space out.
Yeah, and I trust you to do actual ASMR and not deviate into super weird shit that's like obviously not going to be conducive to me sleeping. I'm not talking about people trying to do sexy stuff. I understand that, but that's not weird shit. Some people
No.
do weird shit that it's like, it's just, I'm like,
What
People
if there's
like,
an egg
"Alright."
in there? Would that be enjoyable?
Jesus.
I would have to start a new channel for that, where nobody knows who has it.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
But
I
what,
would.
what would your niche be? It'd just be like we do a mixture of whispering videos and cat petting videos. You just have a cat on the camera and you're just petting its head. And the
No,
cat...
I wouldn't be on camera for ASMR.
Okay.
But I could have a microphone next to my hand while petting the cat, so be like, shh, or something.
Yeah.
And maybe some cat purring. That'd be good.
Trying to think of the... Oh, right, yeah, there's one dude I like listening to. His channel's called Ephemeral Rift. He's got like a few 100,000 subscribers at this point. I'm not sure what type he is, but he's pretty creative. Like he actually creates like whole stories. He's got like an entire like lore, like based off of like Lovecraftian stuff and whatnot. He's got like all these different characters. He has like an asylum theme where it's like it's got a bunch of characters in there. A dude named Iggy Manley, who's like, yeah, he had one called like Manly ASMR, and it's like him just fucking, he's like, here I got my nut sack, and he just holds up a burlap sack full of peanuts. So it's like for him, there's obviously like character stuff involved, but it's pretty chillax. And there's some people that are actually they just like whisper read stuff, and I was like, I don't know why this is so enjoyable. It's like I actually... And I fell asleep. I was reading something though, and it's like, I'm pretty sure the ASMR was an Enneagram Type 9 invention. I was like, yeah.
Why?
Probably.
Why not 4?
Because Enneagram 9, it's like, you just gotta... It's like you gotta go back to sleep and just... It's like you don't have to be asleep, but it's like the state of calm where it's almost like being in a state of kind of like being like a fetus. You're just like not really anything. You're just sort of chillaxing.
I can see why 9 like it, but I think it was created by 4.
Maybe. I remember my fucking introduction to that whole genre. Before it really took off, I think. There weren't that many videos with like the ASMR title on it, but it was fucking the weirdest thing. It was like, I don't know how I got there, but I think it was just one of those nights where I was just finding different shit on YouTube, you know?
Yeah, that's how you find that kind of stuff. That's how I found it anyway. The weird place of YouTube.
But it was a video of a lady with really long, or not long, just sharp fingernails, and she was scratching a tree trunk. And I was like, I don't know why I like this, but I like the sound. Then I started looking for like nail scratching sounds, because I was like, why is this peaceful? Why do I feel okay about this? Then it turned into finger tapping, and then it was like finger tapping with whispering. I was like, well, what's this whispering thing? Why does this work too? And it was just like people were whispering stuff, and I was like, suddenly I feel okay, and existence doesn't feel so painful.
But there's also like apps with sounds, which has like a small loop of a certain sound. I guess that's how I found ASMR without knowing it was ASMR. It just occurred to me.
Mm-hmm.
Trying all kinds of shit to sleep for a while. I had crazy sleep issues. Tried everything. That worked. Long list of clips.
I enjoyed it when people like would read stories and stuff, because then you could listen to a story, but it, was like Somebody like having a really calming voice. I'd be like, "Yay, listening to a story. It's fun."
Yeah, I did something similar. There's like this talk show thing, 3 guys making jokes, like an actual radio show, and I just put it on really low volume so I could barely hear what they were saying.
That's
So,
funny.
so when I got to the point where I would fall asleep, it wouldn't disturb me.
Yeah, I had to be careful sometimes because I'd like be listening to something like that,
Mm.
and then like if I didn't have the playlist set up right, it'd just be like, and this concludes tonight's ASMR session. And then silence, and as it goes to the next track, and I'm just like,
Yeah, that thing I was talking about is like a show that's been going for years, and they have like internet radio with only that playing.
Fucking, I found this one. I don't know if anybody found the dude. Like his YouTube channel name was like J Inspire or something like that. But it was like he didn't fucking like some sort of bullshit sleep hypnosis stuff. But it was like he was like prior to ASMR. Like his videos, if they're still up, they're like 9 years old.
What was the name?
J Inspire, like the word inspire, but just a J instead of an I.
Yeah, it exists. 37 videos. Oh. Blah.
Yeah, let me try to see that first one. Yep, 9 years.
I think it's similar to something I found on Spotify, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Anna Thompson is her name. Mostly crap, but there was this one I liked, which was for sleeping. I think she also has like lose weight hypnosis and stop smoking hypnosis and all kinds
Jesus.
of weird stuff.
Yeah. I never quite like if people were trying to do like affirmations or like try to be like in like just sort of like I don't know programming sort of stuff for your brain. I wasn't necessarily into that.
Yeah, that doesn't work. But talking you to sleep, that's a normal thing.
I didn't do well if they tried to give me any sort of a directive, because then I'd spend the whole time worrying that I wasn't doing it right.
Really?
Yeah. But as long as there wasn't like any demand being put on me and they were just sort of like talking about something or like reading a story, then I was just able to drift off. Because they'd like reach a point in the story and then eventually my brain would take over with mental associations. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of like this thing and then like that thing. And then eventually I just naturally went into a dream state. Most of my time awake is just me daydreaming. Anyway. Like, I'm just making mental associations with shit.
You INFJ, you.
I mean, if you wonder why I say so much weird shit, it's because weird shit goes on in your dreams, and I'm basically halfway dreaming when I'm awake anyway, so.
That's pretty introverted.
You know what? Thank you for providing feedback when I had questions.
It's okay, but now you have acknowledged it, and I'm just building onto it, so you will stop questioning it.
Well, me and not questioning things, I think you'll run out of
things.
I think you'll run out of energy on that before I do, because I have a lot of energy for questioning things. However, thank you.
Sounds like you mean retarded, no? I'm fucking introverted too. No. Though I might be retarded, but that's okay.
However, if there's any accusation to be made, people sometimes use censor and sometimes feeler as a
Such a
indication of
censor.
retarded. You're such a censor.
Such a
Oh my
censor.
god.
Oh my god, such a feeler. All the feels. Censor moist.
Needs to become a caption. Censor voice. It's gotta be you saying it in that voice. Censor moist. Much wow. Very censor. So moist. Oh my god. Censor moist sounds like a really unfortunate brand of, I don't know, just a brand of something. Pick you up a new bottle of Censor moist.
I didn't expect it to sound like that before I said it.
Ah, Censor moist. It's good. I like it.
It's good.
It's the best.
It's the greatest.
Yeah. Yep.
Did Eric run away?
I think so.
Maybe he's going to his house. He's like, I got my speed. I want to make some noise.
Maybe he's
Fuck.
climbing on top of his woman and they're gonna try to sneak the sex like he's trying to smuggle a sack of potatoes underneath a German
Maybe.
tank.
Maybe he's trying the practice finger.
God, I don't want to think about that. It's like anti-ASMR for me. It shocks me awake.
Censor die.
What? Oh, censor die. Okay, but he had there. I was like, did your SI already fail you? Is censor moist? It's terrible. Don't TI your way around town.
That sounds boring.
His famous last words will be him trying to argue with a semi as it hits him.
A semi what?
Oh, sorry. Semi truck? That's what you would call it. The really big trucks that haul the cargo. I forget sometimes when I'm just talking that I actually utilize slang terms. Because it's like so normal to use those sorts of terms around where I live.
Yeah, and I'll keep asking questions. Is that your thing?
No, Susanna, that's a semi.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That's a scooter.
It's not a scooter.
Scooter.
Oh, wait, it kind of is. I was just finally looked at that wheel. Yeah, what the fuck is that, dude? It's like a fucking actual motorcycle had sex with something morphologically not the same. Cheers, mate. Mate.
What kind of job do you think an INTP would be good for?
Probably something that required critical thinking. So, most important jobs, unfortunately, a lot of the people who have those jobs don't think they need critical thinking, or they think that they already have it.
Yeah.
Staring. No, that's definitely an NI job. Staring holes into walls.
IT stuff. I've done that. I'm bored with it. But I'll probably end up doing that again.
Is there anything where you could like utilize any sort of like theoretical stuff? A lot of jobs are like, here's a hammer, hit shit with it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I looked into psychology, but that's 6 years of education I won't do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Sounds like INTPs actually have the desire, or not really desire, the fucking drive for TI enough to actually learn the nitty gritty of things. I feel like I'll have enough energy to notice that I'm just skipping over vast swaths of information because I can't even right now.
Yeah, but I do that too, when it's enough. At some point, the brain doesn't want to absorb more.
Hmm. I don't know if SIs necessarily recalling facts, but I think it's more the TINE ego block that's.
I agree. Learning the system and using it. I was considering taking some networking certification, but now the idea just seems boring.
So you said you were interested in psychology.
Yeah,
you
but
didn't
I
necessarily. Right.
There's not really anything I can do without an education in it, so that field is out of the question. And I don't want to be a fucking nurse. Right?
You should like kind of be like a nurse that only has to deal with corpses. Like, what is it? It was the TV show Scrubs. You could be like the guy named Doug Murphy. He was like such a bad. He was. I don't even think he made it to be a doctor. He was an intern that was like so bad at keeping people alive they just put him in the morgue.
Yeah, and he plays the weirdo for the rest of the series or something.
I mean,
it's a few years since I saw it.
I was not implying that you'd be a weirdo. I'm just saying that maybe, perhaps you would be in your element. I am also thinking of a particular episode where they're holding a hamster and they're like, "Oh, cool, where'd you find that?" It's like Doug found him in some dead guy's colon, and Doug's just hiding underneath the table, and they look in on him, and he's like, "But why was it in there?"
That's not TINE. It could be.
Would you find the hamster in there and start contemplating? Like,
of course. Like, how did this happen? I have to check the colon. Or just cut it open. Cut the whole guy open. Get to the bottom of it.
I like how in the one episode JD goes to ride his scooter through a puddle and he disappears into the puddle and like pops up out of another puddle. He asks the janitor, he's like, "Are you aware of any sort of underground canal system underneath the hospital?" And he's like, "I think I saw a manatee." He's like, "Was his name Julian?" And he's like, "I don't know. We didn't exchange pleasantries." And he's like, "Yeah, it was Julian." Hmm. Hmm. Right, yeah. Yeah, I kind of get what you're talking about, like with the solving problems thing. I think maybe I feel it in a different sort of sense, but it's like, I think really, even though like, I have a particular way that I want to go, maybe not a particular way exactly. I have my preferences as to how I go about things. However, I think um, really just trying to get people in touch with what they like doing, like making it so that people actually get up in the morning and they want, like, they have something to look forward to, or they're like excited to be alive.
Yeah.
Like that at its core, that's what I'm interested in. How I go about that is open to interpretation. You said you want to solve problems. Like, is it kind of like what I'm talking about? Is it more just like that's the general thing, and then how you go about it is more malleable?
Yeah. Well, it should not be SE shit.
Right. As I was saying, you have your preferences for going about things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Like, I don't want to shovel cow manure to get rid of that problem.
Right.
Metaphysical shit, preferably.
Yeah. I sort of get what you're talking about with the nurse thing too, because it's like I'm a fucking feeler, and it's like my bedside manner is shit. Like, just
But that actually happened to me one time. It's quite a few years ago now, but I was out of work for a period of time, and it was clear that I shouldn't be doing what I was doing. And my doctor talked to me about retraining programs, and the one that she potentially could get me in on was nursing training. And I just reject. No, I'm gonna keep doing my thing. Which I ultimately had to quit though. But I'm not gonna be a fucking nurse.
So are you like interested in analytical stuff?
Yeah, creative shit. Leave some room for creativity and not all TE. I did that for a while. I did like credit control. That was not too bad. But not very flexible. It was just reading numbers.
Do you have any musical inclinations? I'm not necessarily saying just playing like a instrument or something like that, but it's like,
what do you have in mind?
Like, I mean, I'm struggling to brainstorm right at the moment, but
Oh yeah, no, not currently. I did play instruments in the past, but no, I don't see that as.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
I didn't really have anything to say, so.
I guess I was meaning like if you had any sort of interest in the. Well, I was gonna say technical aspects, but maybe not that. Like, I'm not I'm not necessarily thinking about this in the sense of like, okay, there's some existing job title. Susanna,
Yeah.
are you interested in this particular job title? Like, I'm trying to think of more of it like if you're talking about creative stuff, the thing that popped into my mind.
But
Oh, go ahead.
this is interesting because I googled it, right? ITP careers.
Uh-huh.
First thing in the list, computer network architect, and that was exactly the course I thought I maybe should take. Number one in list, that thing. I'd probably be good at it, but I don't think I would enjoy it that much.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter. I probably won't get to pick and choose anyway when I start doing something.
The thing I was trying to say though is that like as far as the creative stuff, like I'm trying to explain the process I was going through in my mind. Like I was thinking that rather than thinking of like a job title necessarily, I was trying to think of the different aspects or like roles somebody could play in relation to that. I thought of music because
Yeah, not that kind of creative. I think more like you need to intuit some shit.
Right.
Get use of actual thinking to get to the problem.
Right. So I guess I'm using the music thing as more of like, I guess the way that I'm trying to see it is it's like if you were to have that situation of there being some sort of project or something like that where music is concerned, like how could you get somebody who is interested in more like analytical thinking or like more interested in the theory aspect of the things rather than maybe the musical or the technical side or something like that? Like if there was a place for that, because it's like in my head I don't have like just this list of careers prepared or based off of what I've seen. Like I don't think it's something where I can just base it off of what I've seen, because it's like there's careers that don't exist yet because people haven't made them. Sorry.
Back. I had to fix something quick.
I'm really sorry about that.
What were you saying? Were you thinking for yourself?
No, I was kind of. I mean, I was implementing what I've been thinking about in terms of myself, but then I was wondering, is there any way that like what you're talking about in this sort of idea, this framework I have pertaining to music?
But music is kind of physical, like doing shit. It's practical work.
Yeah, I guess. Like I guess I'm just. I'm sort of trying to get a better idea of like if somebody were an INTP, would they have any sort of place there? I was trying to think of something like music theory or something like that. Like I don't know if there's. Okay. Yeah, I'm not saying it would happen. I was just messing around in my head. And I sort of took you along for the ride.
That's okay.
But I'd like to get better at. I think career counseling in a way. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to have it as like a job title, but I'd like to gain enough knowledge and experience that if somebody's like, I really don't know what to do, like I want to be able to actually offer fucking help.
What's it called? Temp agency.
Uh-huh.
That could be something. for you, maybe interview people and see what you could use them for.
Yeah.
I have a friend who did that. He liked it a lot.
There's also another aspect that I don't know, because like the approach that seems to make the most sense in my mind is something a bit different than I guess how I would see it, but I don't know. I gotta sleep at some point.
Yeah, me too.
What time is it?
11:19
PM?
a.m.
Oh, AM. Okay. But you got us. For you?
Yeah, it's sunshine time.
Okay.
Did
Sunshine.
I get it right? We don't say a.m. or p.m.
Oh. Yeah,
For you.
if it's sunshine time, then it is 11 a.m. There's no sunshine at 11 p.m. unless you're like well, shit. I mean, you're kind of up north, but I don't think you're that up north. Some places in Alaska, it might be at certain times of years daylight even that late, but yeah, it's probably 11 a.m.
Yeah, I know where I'm from. A few weeks in the middle of the summer, the sun never sets.
Jesus. I think the longest days I have are until like 9:30 at night.
That's maybe something like where I'm now. Or maybe a little later even. Not sure. It's dark at night. Before it wasn't. But you get used to everything.
Susanna grew up for 15 years before ever seeing a sunset.
21. Well, I did see it because it was only for a few weeks. And then it normalized.
Yeah. It was a joke.
I remember one time I was awake and the sun was away for 20 minutes.
Nice.
That's weird. Like, there it goes down and there it comes up.
For 20 minutes, you're like, hello, darkness. Oh, never mind. It's back.
It didn't really go down, it just disappeared behind the mountain for a while. So it was still sort of light.
It got shy and then it decided to come back out. So I think the next time my brain tries to accuse me of being a different type, I'm just gonna in lieu of a long drawn out argument, I'm just gonna respond to it by saying Susanna said that she says things and people don't listen to her and then people get shit wrong. And that'll be my argument.
Yeah. That works. And at least some people will know what you're talking about.
Well, it'll be my own internal argument for my head when I start accusing myself of not being INFJ.
If it works. Because Susanna is INTP. I don't know.
I mean, it'll help. It'll help.
Whatever works with NI.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to go to bed because I'm nodding off and
Okay. See
not
you
gonna
later
be-
then.
yeah. Thanks for talking to me.
Yes, nice talking to you too, Ken.
Is it nice?
Most of the time.
Well, thank you.
So, good night, Ken.
Good morning. You people have mornings, right? You actually call it the morning. I know you don't call it AM, but do you call it the morning?
Yes.
Okay.